We shared this wonderful stash with the collective members and we had to make something. So I had done an art doll. First of all, I made a template, and then we got a bundle of beer mats because I like beer mats, I like the texture. So I decided that's going to be the dress for my art doll. So I've just gone from the corner and I'm just going to cut a little scallop. We've got quite a few of these and they were cheap as chips. They're only about £1. So they'd be great for making a little mini book or all sorts. But because they're quite heavy, I thought it would be a great base. Now, I've also used my template to create my little arms, which I've drawn round, and then the legs. Obviously, when you're looking at your beer mat, have a look at the different colours. So I've picked out some of the colours from the beer mat, and then on the other side, I like the lines. So cut those out, and that's my body ready. I've got a template for the head, which I'm also going to draw around, but I have given her a really nice long neck. So that I've cut out as well. Gesso the face. Now I have actually put 2 layers of gesso on that ready to colour in. Now, gel print. So I actually put way too much yellow on, truth be known. I didn't show you that bit. Now, this is one of the plastic things that we picked up, which is so good for printing. The first print is always best unless you keep cleaning it, because otherwise you get the paint on. So that's my first print, which I like to flip. I'm using copier paper. Sometimes a copier paper is trickier to pull off the actual gel plate. So if I flip it and roll the gel plate, I find it comes off way easier. And this is an A4 gel plate. We picked up these now. These are super cool because they're really thick, so way thicker than your normal toilet roll holders. And I'm using a craft knife to actually start cutting into this. So I'm making my own printing roll. Now, I'm using a craft knife, but if you have got lino cutting tools, then they're going to work for this as well. As you can see, the finished result looks really cool. Just make sure you actually cut it thick enough. If not, you won't be able to get a print from it. Now, I'm using orange because I like orange, and just covering my gel plate and then literally rolling my custom roller over the gel plate. Don't put too much pressure on because you don't want to pick up loads and loads of paint. You want to only pick up paint on the top element of your roller. And look at that print. How cool is that? I've then taken my first print, so my dots, and I've put that over the top. As I say, because I'm using copier paper, it does stick, does this one, but beautiful. Next, I'm using one of my, another one of the beer mats and cutting a wobbly circle. Obviously, I could have cut this perfectly. You know, I could have used something to actually draw a circle beforehand, but I'm doing it freehand because I'm not too fussed. I'm using this really nice blue. I'm using Cadence acrylic paints and then just creating a print. So lifting some of the circles off. Keep this because the print, once you've actually picked up the paint on that beer mat, that makes a really nice substrate to use for another project. So I'm definitely not getting rid of that because it's cool. I'm then using the actual printer roll that it now is, but using the edges. I love the texture of this because it's not really smooth. It gives you a really cool circle, really good printing. Really good for printing is that. Love it. And then I'm using our plastic thingy-me-bob again. Now this time I'm doing it the other way about because you're going to get a different circle print. And I like the lines in it as well. They help you line it up if you do want to get it sort of perfect. But obviously that's not a big deal. So I'm picking up all the solid paint, sorry. So I'm getting a really cool print. Good in there. I love those circles. I think they look really good. I am putting a bit of pressure on there because it's flush is the bottom, so it's flush with the edges, so those edges are sort of squidging into my gel plate a bit, but they're not sharp, so they're not cutting into my gel plate. Now, I haven't edited this bit out because I did my print, and as you can see, when you roll it back, nothing's printed. But I thought I'm going to keep that in because you need to see what happens if that goes wrong. So I'm using a bit of gel medium. This is a Dina Waitley gel medium, but obviously try any of them will work. and braying that on. Don't put too much on. You don't want it so it's sliding around, and you do need to give it time to dry. So I did give it a few minutes to dry, and then peeling that back, and this time you can see it's perfect. The gel medium is brilliant for this because you're not putting any colour on the gel plate. It's a matte one as well, so it's not shiny. You can see pretty clear. Isn't that cool? So that's my third layer. Now, I am using this as my background paper for my dress. So I've used the actual beer mat to cut the template, and then I'm using the little arms to cut its sleeves. Next, I've taken a pencil and just outlined the details of the face, which you can see, and then I will draw that in a few moments' time, gluing the dress on, and then starting to actually paint the face. I haven't drawn it in yet because the pen I'm using is a pigment pen, so if I'd have put the pigment pen on first and then watercoloured, it'd have smudged everywhere. So that's my little face. Now, I have to apologise because I forgot to video putting the hair on. The hair is made out of a material, and you can see I've used it for the band there, and that when you actually split the fibres, you get the really nice hair, if you will, which I've just put on with a bit of double-sided tape, but I forgot to record. Sorry. I've then used some of the material that Erica picked up, and I'm just using a bit of double-sided sticky tape and just ruching this up, sticking it to the tape so it gives you that really nice effect. It was a bit long in places, but it tears really easily. So that gathering really does give it a gorgeous texture. I've then torn a little bit more of the material, and I'm just twisting it and then gluing it in situ so it creates a little band around the skirt. I've put a bit of double-sided tape at the back there just to hold the back in place. Ta-da! So now she's got a ruffle. Now, I'm taking a crocodile because obviously this is quite thick to punch through. I'm punching some holes where I want the arms to be. So a couple of arms each side, and then holes through the top of the arms. So they're ready to go. Now, to actually affix these, I'm using one of the treasury tags. I did do this completely wrong. So obviously I worked out how to do it. So I'm threading the treasury tag from the front through to the back. No, from the back through to the front. And then it's big enough for the treasury tag to be threaded back through the holes. So it means the actual tab bits, so the metal bits are going to be sat at the back, so you're not going to see them. And I like this because it means you've still got movement for the arms, and I think that looks good. And I quite like the actual cord. That doesn't offend me. I quite like that. I think it looks interesting. So there's my little arms in place. Now, I needed to make some stoppers because the way the arms are, because I've put them at the back of the dress, it means that they can fall right behind the back of the dress. So just using my beer mats again, and I've created a stopper so the arms can't actually go all the way down, which I think it's easy, but it just makes sure that they're in situ all the time. And then just tuck the treasury tags so you're not going to see those poking out. Gluing the head on, I've used double-sided tape and then a little bit of wet glue and popped that in situ. And I've used another bit of that material, which I'm putting on, so she's got a little collar on her dress. Now, I did like the words on the beer mat. I thought these were cool, so I wanted to cut that out. What is your favourite? And then I've left that blank. I think it says, what's your favourite thing about? So that's going to go on her dress with double-sided tape. I then decided I've fallen out with her head, so I chopped some more card off her head. Obviously, I always do things like this once I've glued them in place. Standard. Anyway, we're fine. Now, deciding where to put the legs. So again, punching with the crocodile, punching holes in the actual legs and then in the body, and you can see it's gone right through the material as well. Crocodiles are great because they're so punchy. Now, again, taking the metal pieces, so they're going through the legs, through the body to the front, which will then allow you to loop them back round again. I've used, the crocodile has 2 different hole settings. I've used a larger hole setting so it allows me to put that cord back through again, because otherwise the smaller one wouldn't allow me to do this. So do check with your hole punch that it's going to be big enough. And that means when I've done this, my legs can move as well, so she can dance. So the next bit, I've taken the actual brochure from the print festival, and I've decided to start doing a little bit of collage. So I've cut out some words, I've cut out some letters, so I can start gluing these in place. This is one of the leaflets, and we picked up, it's a really cool off-cut papers. Can you see, from one of the wonderful printers? And I'll have to give a shout out in the video, because we got the offcuts and they were gorgeous. Her finished pieces were beautiful. So I've used some of the offcuts, and I'm just cutting random shapes. I like the black and white because I think that looks quite good against that bright colour, especially as it ties in with the legs. So I've just decided, and I'm having a play with composition before I actually glue anything in place. So popping those in place and then starting to put my words on. So obviously I've put the art there, the craft is going on her legs, and then I'm going to stick the create down. I've stuck glue on my hand actually. At first I started faffing, but then I put glue on my hand, getting the dipping the actual letters in and then putting the letters in place, which I love. Now, next, I've taken a little bit more of the black print, and this time with that bit, I decided to put that on a headband. So I've used, because I didn't want this flat, I have used some of the gel medium, and this is a really thick gel medium, and that allows me just to push it in so it's got a bit of dimension. I fell out with the face, so I've added more colour to the face, and then just with a darker pen, I've gone around the edges of, I've done everything basically, all the sort of 3D elements, or the thicker elements I should say. So I've gone the arms, the actual dress, and I've also gone round the legs as well. I've then taken a drawing pen and just edged the little letters, and then another piece of that printed paper, which I've just popped round her neck for a little necklace. And there she is, my little lady, my little arty craft doll. I really hope you enjoyed that. Do watch out for the Craft Collective. We run workshops regularly, either online or in person. Do follow us. Thank you.